Okay, I am going to try to do a fairly quick video tour of the studio since friends have asked, and I also wanted to share that in some other places. So here we are at the Briarwood Imagiporium. And this is kind of what you see when you walk in. The front area got these panels painted. Let me back a bit. There we go. The front area got the panels painted, meant to go down the walls. Might still do that, might not. Kind of lost enthusiasm. But they were designed around the Green Man desk, which many of you have seen before. But there they are, all 13 of them in their glory, hanging out with my other friends. This is my actual desk. During open days, it is display. And this little area is where I do my drawing and painting, illustrating, things like that. It's a 1920s drafting table given to me by neighbors I had never even met, so that's pretty cool. The desk was given to me by friends who also gave me the antique filing cabinet. Excuse me. It looks like a music cabinet to a lot of people, but it actually is flat filing for legal size documents. It came out of an attorney's office. And over here on this side, also display area, my antique piano, which I gutted before I left Minnesota. Still haven't finished turning it into a desk display piece. This panel will get pushed to the back and some woodworking done, and then there will be a plywood desktop that slides in and comes out as needed. Doing its job well enough for the moment. Over here is my seating area. I use it when I sit to write my plans for the day and drink my coffee, do my meditation. It's also kind of stitch and witch space for open studio time, and a spot where, when friends stop by to see me at work, they can sit and relax. So it's kind of nice. All the furniture that you see in here was either alley shopped, a few pieces bought at estate sales, and gifted to me. Back here, sewing area, little table that came out of my childhood kitchen. Didn't look anything like that at the time. Dad gave it to me when I came back to town, since I had already stripped it as a high school project and never refinished. So it got stained, paint grade top, so it got painted. Cordelia and her squirrel friend do not usually hang out here, but that's where they are for today. This chair over here that I've zipped past is just a project. I didn't need another project. I haven't upholstered anything I've picked up in the last 20 years. But you couldn't have left that by the side of the road, could you? No, you could not. I have found that I can get a nice thick custom cut foam cushion for about $40. And I'm just going to do an art project kind of thing. Think Queen of the Forest Fairies. I'm not going to do a full reupholstery thing, more a fabric collage stitched on covering. And, somewhere down the road, if somebody who ends up with it in many years' time doesn't like that, they can take it apart and properly upholster. If I have to properly upholster it, it's never going to happen. Let's see, antique treadle table. The treadle machine is in my parents' basement, just to keep it lightweight enough to move around. And one of the things you'll notice, it's kind of airy and sparse in the center. That's intentional. All of the pieces that are there are lightweight enough to move easily out to the sides in case I need to bring in my ping pong table on which I can lay out fabric to custom dye paint, custom patterned fabric. Little thread holder for my most used colors. That was a cardboard box that a clock came in, plus some paint stir sticks, plus some decoupage. Poverty is the mother of invention sometimes, but it works. And for what it doesn't hold, there's my ever popular candy jars. That just makes me happy. Most of my things are stored in clear containers, mostly glass containers. If it has to be closed, I do try to label it. Some of the things that are closed are just staples, like this is fasteners. If I need them, I know where to find them. I don't need to see that for inspiration to remember to use it. Dresser from my childhood bedroom that holds fabrics, holds yet more buttons, belts to use for straps and things, some basic sewing supplies, the junk drawer that every place needs. This is mine. And GIMP and cording and things like that. Things that I don't have to see for inspiration to remember to use them. And that's my purchased fabrics are in there. On this side, all my upcycled fabrics. My favorite storage system, it cost about $100 for the 6 foot tall, 4 foot wide wire rolling shelf unit. That's how you can look it up on Amazon if that's of interest to you. It holds these totes that you can get at the grocery store here for like $1.50. And I just added some paint to them to make them prettier, and then a splash of paint on the ends so I can chalk on what's in there. So that holds sewing projects, upcycled fabrics. My patterns and muslins are all in one. Dye and supplies. One thing to note, if you do buy these, the wheels are hard and they have a ridge in the center. If you have softwood floors, they will leave dents. Hardwood floors and manufactured flooring, it's fine. Shelf unit for my cousin. Those baskets, I'm going to put a shelf up there where the rose is and move those up so I have more room on the shelf for projects in progress. So I don't have these sitting here, but what do you want to bet? I'll move those up to there, and then I will have more projects I don't finish in baskets. Sigh. So projects in progress. Fabric collage. Student work in progress. Brenda, your rabbit misses you. Some pieces for Little Big Show, which is a charity event, artist promo thing that happens here in August. Snack. Recording station. This is where I sit for Zoom calls and things like that. Some vintage suitcases that hold pieces for assemblage art, like metal bits, old violins, things like that. That's some that it would be better if they were stored in something clear, but that would require plastic at that size. And yeah, not right now. Not into it. Just a little vintage file cabinet. The drawers hold stamps and stamp pads and things like that quite nicely. Again, things that I will go looking for when I need them. So I don't mind not being able to see them all the time. Crabtree and Evelyn store unit. That probably from the 70s that a friend gave me back in the early 2000s. And I just use baskets within it to hold different things, and magazine holders up top to kind of keep things corralled. It is at an angle, so it needs a little corralling or everything slides to the front. And then my most practical thing I've ever done, and I've been doing these since I was 10 years old, strap hung shelves. It uses grosgrain ribbon and sturdily installed hardware. And as long as you install them properly, they will not fall down. 1x12s in this case. And as you can see, a fair bit of weight on them. And this wall was built with uneven stud work, so that was a joy to find. But so that's like my best suggestion for cheap shelving anywhere. And then all the things on it, as much as possible, in glass or marked with tags so that I can find them easily. And of course, all my ribbon jars. And my beads. I don't use my beads very much, but I have this dream that I'm going to make some jewelry. So I just hoard beads. And I hoard ribbons. My ribbon shelf is a 1x6 with a piece of trim to keep the ribbons from rolling off. I think it's a much more practical thing than putting them on dowels. I once worked in a florist shop that used that system and really liked it. And down here, just a sturdy old work table that came out of the basement of an apartment building I once lived in. And just functional, holds stuff, more stuff underneath. Not ideal, but that's as it goes. This rolling cart is probably, let's see, it's one of two things I purchased new. This and my clock were actually bought new. I don't think anything else in the room was, just because I need the cart for immediate access to those things. My little red table that's over there is from childhood. It's usually used in window displays, but it is also a handy spot to have next to me when I am on a Zoom call or teaching via Zoom so that I can move things off to the sides because my workspace gets really cluttered. And then just the big work table. That was a cabinet that was here when I moved in. The landlords were going to toss it. And I said, you know what? A sheet of 4x8 plywood painted with oil-based enamel will turn that into a great work surface. So that's what I did. I snagged my mom's vintage ice cream parlor stools, antique, I guess, at this point, that she never did get around to doing the project she was going to use them for. And they'll need some reupholstery because whoever reupholstered them in the 70s did a lovely job, but that 1970s foam is pretty dead in there. Some more things, just again, stored in jars mostly. Baskets that are marked when can't be. And then back here, it continues. I do have, the joy of extra space. The hallway's crowded right now because I have boxes of paper flowers that will be going elsewhere soonish. I have a bit of a storage room back here. Those closed supply cabinets are great in that they don't get sawdust in them for the few times that I do a quick little cut on a piece of wood back here. Most of my woodworking I do at Dad's, but once in a while I need to cut something right away. That's great. It keeps dust out of some things, but I honestly forget that I have the things that are in there and they don't get used much. Another one of those rolling racks. When I get these boxes out of here, I'll probably get one more of these racks. And then after that, I can't collect any more stuff. Somebody hold me to that, please. And then just a quick little, there's a bathroom back there. In here, little tiny mini kitchen. Perfect for, snacks and things. I cook at Mom and Dad's. I don't really cook here, but I don't need my spice jars at Mom and Dad's. So here they are up on the wall, occasionally get used. And they just make me happy in my little wonky, somebody threw it away. Can't imagine why. Little found rack. I think this was probably somebody's junior high wood shop project. I just like it. Think it's cute. Hot plate, handy for dissolving your honey. So there's that. Everything I need in one little space. I spend a lot of time here at the studio if I'm not with Mom. For those who don't know, my mom has Alzheimer's. So I spend 3 days a week with her and cook their main meals of the week. And then the rest of the time I spend over here, plus mornings and evenings. And yes, from in here you can hear all the people who are going by on the sidewalk and talking. So that's a tour of the studio. That's what it looks like from where I sit most of the time, looking out. Sometimes the light reflection off of the buildings on the other side of the street is so bright I do have to close the curtains. But nice, light, bright, north-facing. This is where you'll find me.